you've already clicked on submit, then you just have to wait for the CS to give you an update. Now, for the CS to give you an update, they will contact you through this green button here, which we call our IM. Okay. Now, once you click that teachers, it will open on a new tab, and this is how our IM looks like. Now, for our CS teachers, they will message you here. They will contact you through our IM. Now, there are times that your TM will also contact you through IM. Okay. All right. Now, of course, for you teachers, you can also use your IM to send your TM a message. So if ever that your TM reached out to you on Skype, then you can message them on Skype, and you can also send your message in your IM at the same time, so that you're going to be 100% sure that your TM will be able to see your message. So for you to be able to find your TM here, all you need to do is to go to the search bar and type your TM's name. Now, once you've already typed your name, press enter. And if ever that it will give you a multiple result, then choose the one that says TM. Okay. Now, once you click that teachers, there you can already send your TM a message. Now, you will know if your TM is online or not because of this green circle here. So once it's green, we know that it is online. And once that it's like invisible or just gray, then they are offline. Clear? All right. So that's for our tutor client. Do you have any questions or any clarifications?
You here, your class table is not yet open 24 hours. You can only open or plot classes from 5 p.m. to 12 midnight on weekdays, and on weekends, you can open or plot classes from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight. You're required to open slot good for 4 hours as your minimum requirement per day. Work here 5 days per week. Must be able to open slots good for 25 hours per week with or without a student, and at least can work here one weekend. It's either you teach on Friday evenings, it is already considered as weekend, or teach it on Saturdays or Sundays. So your schedule is up to you whether you want to teach Mondays to Fridays or Tuesdays to Saturdays, or if you want to work here every day, you can do so. You can start 5 p.m. onwards or 8 p.m. onwards, or during peak hours where we have more students from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now, if you wanted to have morning classes and afternoon slots open, just make sure that you have a good record and you have a good standing. Meaning to say, teachers, no complaints from students, no absences from you, and you do not have canceled classes. So if you have a good record, you have a good standing, after 2 weeks of teaching here, you can request it to your team manager to open your morning and afternoon slots. Once it is open, you can plot good for 4 hours per day as the minimum requirement, 14 hours per day as the maximum, 25 hours per week is the minimum, 40 hours per week as the maximum. Okay? So teachers, make sure that when you open slots, once you plotted classes, your schedule is going to be fixed, regular, or stable. What does it mean? Your schedule this week has this to be the same on the succeeding weeks to come, especially your first 3 months, since this is the time you're looking for regular student who will constantly have you as their teacher. Now, students here does not only have 1 or 2 classes per week, they usually have classes every day. And once they like you, they will just let customer service or the system book your slots for them. They don't need to do that every week. All they need to do is to enter the classroom they have once they are scheduled to have classes. Now, if you constantly change your schedule every week, tendencies you will lose regular students, and no student will book your slots. They will hesitate to book it as you do not have stable schedule. Okay, so teachers, make sure that you have the same schedule each week. So yes, indeed, it is inevitable that there are days that we need to take we need to rest, we have to take a rest day on a certain day, that's totally fine. However, just make sure that once you have open slots, it's going to be the same week each time. You're not going to constantly change it. Okay, after 3 months of working here, if you wanted to change your schedule, then that's when you actually change it. But for the first 3 months, while you're building up your account, you are still gaining points and finding regular students. Make sure that you have fixed, regular, and stable schedule. Okay? Clear? All right. So teachers, that also means to say that if you have succeeding unbooked slots, slots with no student on it, you're not going to lock it, you're not going to cancel it, you're just going to let it as is. Because if you're going to cancel or lock your unbooked slots, no student can see that schedule anymore. You have already messed up your schedule. Okay. So for the first 3 months that you're here, do not cancel or lock any of your and book slots. Just let it as is. And instead, what you can do is to refresh your class table 2 minutes before the time. Why? We do have what we call as sudden bookings. Now, what is a sudden booking? It is a student who can book your open slots 2 minutes before the class begins. So, say for example, you're 1700, a student can still book it at 1658, 2 minutes before 1700, or your 1730, a student can still book it at 1728, 2 minutes before 1730. So teachers, if you do have succeeding and book slots in a day, you don't need to be in front of your computer each time, okay? Because of course, waiting for 2 hours or an hour without any student is tiring and boring, right? So you can lie down in bed, you can watch TV for the meantime, or you can do your chores, because teachers, you can check your schedule classes using your smartphone. So if you are an Android user, you can download the Acadsoc Tutor app in Play Store, or you can use the link that I sent you in your chat box right now to download the app. However, if you are an iOS user, we do not have an app for you to download, but you can use the Tutor Client website backup in your Safari browser. Use the link that is sent in your chat box, log in your account and password in your Safari browser. Okay? Same as in Android, if in cases that the Acadsoc Tutor app is not available in your smartphone, then you can use the link in your browser. Okay? Clear? So check your class table 2 minutes before the time. If no student booked that slots, you can already rest easy, as no student is allowed to book scheduled classes or blood classes a minute before the class. Okay? Clear? All right. Now, teachers, we do have three running classrooms. We have class in, we have a classroom, and we have Tencent classroom. So the icon that you can see in your screens right now, which is next to or beside your student's name, a green icon with a white bird in the middle, this is one of the classroom icon here in Acadsoc. This is class in. It's a green icon with a white bird. We also have Tencent. Tencent is a cute orange lion, and for a classroom, it's a dark green icon with a big letter A. So a classroom and Tencent icon is not in your screens right now. Now, teachers, we also have a new version that I'll be sending in your accounts, okay, or in your chat box. Now, if a student book your slots and they're using Class In, it will be highlighted in purple. If they book using Tencent, it will be highlighted in blue. So number one in your chat box, Class In, and number three, which is Tencent Classroom, is the most common classroom used these days. You might not even encounter a student who uses a classroom this time, or you might only have one student who uses a classroom in a month or in a week or within 3 months. So the most commonly used classroom will be Class In and Tencent Classroom. Now, teachers, once you have your classes, once you've got your slots open in a day, you've got student. If the first thing you're going to do 30 minutes before your open slots is to click the clock in button, next thing that you must take note and remember is each of your students' classroom platform for that day. Make sure that you remember you noted each of your students' classroom. Why? Because in the evening, especially during peak hours, 6 to 11 p.m., the system somehow sometimes does not really work so good, meaning to say it's very slow, constantly logging. There are times that you will not see anything. The reason behind that is because of the volume of teachers and students in the system. Now, if that happens, there is a big chance that once you click the student's name, when you are inside the student's profile, you might not be able to enter the classroom by clicking open class in, open a classroom, or open Tencent classroom button. Now, here is my question. Thumbs up, yes, thumbs down if no. You can guess, okay? Or based on what you have watched in this video, if in cases that the tutor client app or the website are not working and you cannot enter the classroom via your student's profile, can you still conduct classes? Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no.
Okay, so what's your thoughts about it, teachers? If in case that the tutor client app or the website is not or are not working and you cannot enter the classroom via your student's profile, do you think you can still conduct classes? Thumbs up yes, thumbs down if no. And for teacher Jamily, teacher Noeline, teacher Carol, and teacher Jonna, you can use the chat box to send yes or no. So teacher Chris is yes, teacher Zethoni is yes, teacher Charmaine, teacher Jinky, teacher Dave, teacher Noeline, teacher Jamil, teacher Jonna is yes. What about teacher Carol? Teacher Aisa is yes too. Everyone's answer is yes. You are correct. That's why teachers, once you have your classes, once you've got your students, if the first thing you're going to take note each day is to click the clock and button, next thing that you're going to take note is to remember each of your students' classroom platform. Okay?
Each day, make sure that you remember each of your students' classroom platform. The reason behind that is if in cases that you cannot enter the classroom via your student's profile, as long as you remember your student's classroom for that day, you can still conduct classes because we do have classroom backups. These are standalone classroom application, okay? So even if the app and the website are not working, you can still conduct classes. Now, teachers, let's talk about ClassIn first. ClassIn is the only classroom application you need to download. I will give you the link later on where you can download the ClassIn classroom. So, teachers, make sure to download ClassIn once the training is over because although you can enter the classroom via your student's class or profile rather, if you do not have the app, you cannot enter via your student's profile. Okay, you can only enter ClassIn if you have the app itself. All right, so you can enter via the app or you can enter through your student's profile too. Clear? But you must have the app. Now, teachers, you don't need to use your own account and your password in conducting classes. Acadsoc will provide the account and a password for you. You need to use Acadsoc's account and password because it is linked and connected to your tutor client. So any student that you have for that day, as long as they are using ClassIn, will be inside the app automatically. Okay. So where can you get your Acadsoc ClassIn account and password? Take note and remember this. You can only get it from your first ClassIn student only, not your second ClassIn student, not the third, not the fourth, not even your student by the next day, but you can only obtain it, you can only get it from your first class and student. How so? Let's go back to your class table. And let's say that today is June 27. Today is your first open slot. You already have students 1900 onwards. Now, teachers, as you look at your first student's classroom icon, it's a green icon with a white bird in the middle. That means to say this student is using class in. That means to say this student is your first class in class in student, and this is where you can obtain your Acadsoc class in account and password. So all you've got to do, teachers, is to click the student's name. Once you click it, you will be inside the student's profile once more. Now, under Open Class In, this is where you will see the area code, the account, and the password that you will be using in conducting class in classes. So I will be sending an example in your chat box right now as your reference. Now, teachers, you only have one class in account, which you can only get from your first class in student. Okay, that account is what you're going to use all throughout your teaching journey here in Acadsoc. Okay, clear? It is that account and password from your first class in student is is what you're going to use all throughout. Clear? Okay, great. So now once you have obtained your Acadsoc class in account and password, then teachers, next thing you're going to do is to go back to your students to go back to the class in app you've downloaded. Make sure to change the area code. This is automatically based on the country you're in. So if you're in the Philippines, it will be plus 63. So change it to plus 86. Type your account, type your password, and under the login button, this is where you will see labels like remember password and auto login. So teachers, the small boxes before the label, make sure to click each of the boxes so you don't need to type your account and password each time. Once you use the app, it will automatically log in. So once you're done filling out everything, click the login button and you will be inside the class in lobby. So teachers, the reason why you need to use Akadsoc's account and password, it is because it is linked and connected to your tutor client. So any student that you have for that day, as long as they are using ClassIn, will be inside the ClassIn app automatically. So to check on your students for that day or for the succeeding days to come, as long as you open slots, just click the calendar tab. It's the fifth tab from the top. Once you click it, a big calendar will show up next to it, just like, for example, the picture I sent in your chat box right now. So teachers, kindly click the calendar, double click it to make it bigger because I'll be adding additional information. So as you can see in the calendar, that's for the month of August. You can see the dates August 1 to 31, right? Now, if you notice on the calendar, there are numbers in lighter tone. For example, August 1, 17, August 2, 14, August 3, 13, August 4, 10. Now, these numbers in lighter tone, teachers, are the number of students that you have for that day. So the teacher who owns this calendar has at least 17 students on August 1, 10 students in August 4. So all you've got to do to check on your students is to click the current date. So if the date today is 15, just click the date 15, and that's where you will see your students' name right there. For example, on the next picture I sent you, you can double click it to make it bigger. It has the name Pulse Class. Next to or beside Pulse Class is a green button with the label enter. So that's what you're going to click to enter the classroom. Now, teachers, the enter button is available 15 minutes before 15 minutes before your class starts. However, although you can enter the classroom 15 minutes in advance, it is not advisable that you enter the classroom way earlier. Why? Your student might have a prior class before you. And in order for the interface or the system to change the book material to the book that you're supposed to use, only enter the class at least 2 minutes before the class begins. Okay? Now, if your class is at 1700 or 5 p.m., then enter the class at 1658 or 4:58. Do not enter the classroom early. Okay? Clear? All right. So teachers, once you click the enter button, in your next picture that I sent, that's how it would look like once you are inside. So teachers, you will see that your camera is on the top. Beside it will be the student's camera. And if you notice, if you're going to double click it, your camera is too small. So in order for you to see your student, your student can see you clearly, you're going to drag your and your student's camera either on the left side or the right side. inside, depending on which one you prefer and which one you think is comfortable for you. Okay, so just like the next picture that I sent you, and make sure your camera is on the top, the student's camera should be below it. Okay. All right, so take note and remember that. Now, teachers, since you can only obtain your Acadsoc class in account and password once you've got your student, in order to practice navigating the tools and functions of your class in classroom, once you download class in, for the meantime, kind of sign up. Okay, click sign up. You can register your own phone number or link it to your Google Mail. So teachers, once you have created your own account, log in, and you will be inside the class in lobby once more using your own account. Now, once you are inside, locate the Blackboard editor. It's the last tab on the lower left corner of the tutor client. So teachers, this is where you can practice uploading books, uploading pictures, uploading um short videos, typing a text on the screen, changing the text color and font, underlining and encircling the book, playing the audio in the book, dragging your camera either on the left or the right side that it fits. So you're going to practice navigating class in classroom, the same as a classroom and Tencent, while you are working with your personal data, payments method, and your training center. So that once you're done with the task, you know how to use the different classroom. Once you open slots, you're all ready, you're all set to conduct classes. Okay? Clear? All right, so make sure to practice class in classroom. Now, once you click the backboard editor, if you're using your own account, since it's not yet a premium version, you might wonder why everything is all black, just like the picture that I sent you. But don't worry, the features, the functions are all the same. It's just black because it's not yet a premium version. Okay, clear? All right. So now, teachers, once you're done with all the tasks and you're ready to open slots, once you plotted classes, be sure to log out your own account and make sure to obtain your Acadsoc class in account and password from your first class and student. Okay, clear? All right, so now let's talk about A Classroom this time. A Classroom is not a downloadable app, it's a website. I'll give you the link later on as well. Now, the A Classroom backup link is solely intended for teaching classes. So, if you do not have any student for that day who uses A Classroom, you cannot click the login button. You can only log in if you have students for that day. Now, teachers, take note for your Acadsocs account and password, it has the same as your tutor client's main page. Okay, so the one that your HR or the system has provided for you, the account and your password you are currently using with the tutor app is the same as your A classroom. Now, if you wanted to practice A classroom, unfortunately, teachers, we do not have an A classroom practice version, so you cannot practice A classroom hands on. The only way to do is to familiarize yourself by watching a video. So I'll be sending the video link later on, okay? So don't worry, a classroom is not a common classroom used these days. You might not even encounter a student who uses a classroom anymore. And more likely to, a classroom's tools and functions is quietly closed with Tencent Classroom. Okay? Now, supposedly, we still have one classroom to tackle, but we will tackle it or we will discuss it in the next video to come. Since it's a newly launched classroom, it's not part of this video. Instead, for now, let's say that you've got four students who uses a classroom. This is how it would look like once you're inside. So these are your students and teachers. You can enter the classroom when the enter classroom button is highlighted in blue. So if class ins enter is available 15 minutes before the class, for a classroom enter button, it is available 5 minutes in advance. But at least 2 minutes before the class starts. Okay.